Welcome to the Woman of Power channel. This channel is designed to inspire, encourage, and uplift you. It gives me a great pleasure tonight to welcome one of my good friends, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is compassionate. She's a woman of power and strength. She's a mother of two sons and a newly married woman. She's compassionate to help other women all over the world. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you for having me.
Elizabeth, in our life, we go through so much things in our life, and sometimes we feel like we're alone in what we're going through. But tonight, I want you to share as we talk about divorce. Divorce sometimes is very painful, and sometimes we feel like we're nobody because of the pain that we go through while we're in the situation. So tonight, I want you just to share with us what you go through during your divorce.
So 7 years ago, I went through a very bitter divorce. At the peak of my career, I just registered for my classes to take my bachelor's in science of nursing. Had my second child. He was 2. My first was 5. 2 beautiful boys. Just had my family together. I thought I had everything going on for me at the peak of my career. And when I thought I had my family, I went through divorce. At first, I really didn't see it coming. It started like what I thought was a joke. Little did I know this was going to take a different turn. In the space of from a month to 3 months, we got physically separated. I had to move out of the home that we were living in, and I had to start from scratch. I relocated from the Northeast to Delaware County. But I didn't give up. At that time, I just registered for my classes. So I used to drive 1 hour, but back and forth 2 hours total just to go to class for 4 hours a day in the Northeast. And then I'll come back to Delaware County to pick up my kids, then drive back. And then I will, wake up early in the morning to get ready for work. I still kept my job. I was juggling my job, my kids, and school. It was
Elizabeth, how long were you married at that time?
At that time, we were married for 4 years, but we were together for 8 years. We've been in the relationship for 8 years, married for 4.
Okay.
Yes.
So go on and tell me about what happened.
So the journey was not easy. The journey was not easy at all. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't see it coming. We went for counseling. So we did try to go for counseling for about 3 weeks. That didn't work. Little did I know that it was just a cover up. My ex-husband was already seeing another lady. The reason for our divorce was infidelity. So it is different. It hit me a little bit differently because it was infidelity. It made me feel inferior. It made me feel like I was doing something wrong. It affected my self-esteem. I felt like a failure. I felt like, I wasn't good enough. And on top of that, there was verbal abuse, and there was a lot of emotional abuse during that time, during the 3 months that I stayed in the house, because I stayed in the house for 3 months before I finally moved out. So it was torture. It was really, really torture, emotional, verbal. There was a point in time where I was driving one day on the highway. I even thought of like ending my life, just run through the traffic and end my life, because I was going through so much. Yeah. So much mentally. I was really depressed. I was down. I just felt shame and guilt. And I honestly did not understand the reason then. I was asking God, why? Why me? Why? I was doing good. I thought I was doing good. I was a good wife. I was a good human being. Why me? Why now? So during that time, what I learned to trust God. Although I was saved at that time and I was in church, I wasn't really serious, taking the things of God seriously. So I ended up just begin to ask God to help me, to strengthen me, to show me the way and show me the reason why. And during that time, I started, serving more in the church. I started leading praise and worship at the church I was at that time, praying a lot. I spent a lot of, one-on-one time with God, meditation, reading anything that can help me to be positive, because I was very negative. I turned into a black, bitter, angry woman. Like literally, I was always screaming at my kids. I was so unhappy, so miserable. so miserable. And I learned to turn that negative energy into a positive one by staying with God, putting God first, and trusting Him in the process. It wasn't
So,
easy.
so Elizabeth, at that time, what was your relationship with God? Did you feel like God has forgotten you, or how did you feel?
Yes, I felt, again, I honestly did not understand. I just felt that God was trying to teach me something. He was trying to get my attention. I felt like at one point in time in my relationship, I was idolizing more my family, my husband than God. So sometimes God will allow us to go through stuff to just like get our attention and know that our priorities are not right, and He will straighten that out for us. And
Hmm.
He always has a good plan for us. But at the time I was going through that, I will not never imagine. I was always looking for closure, for replacement. I was pretty much desperate. I was looking for replacement so bad for my husband. I went through so much bad experiences with trying to get into relationships that I had no business, just looking for validation. Because remember, like I said, that affected my self-esteem so much, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for validation. And I learned and realized that nobody can fill that gap for you. You have to recover yourself and heal before you can even try to get into another relationship. So
So, did you have anybody around you to talk to you at that time, or you just felt alone?
honestly, I had my sister, I had my family. As much as they were always asking, me if I needed anything, to ask them, part of me felt lonely. I just felt like nobody could, replace that hole that was left in me. So I kept to myself a lot. I really did. I wasn't expressive. I didn't talk much about it. And I internalized a lot of things. It was painful. I internalized a lot of things. But yeah, I did have family to
So
support me.
at the end of the divorce, now he move out or you move out?
I
How
did
did that
move out.
work?
I did move out and I started from scratch. I had to go and I lived with my sister for 9 months in a basement with my two boys in one bedroom. From there, I finally went and got my own place. From
Hmm.
going from two income to one income, it wasn't easy. There was a time wherein I had $25. I remember I had to choose
Wow.
between, yeah, putting the gas in my car to take me to work versus putting food on the table. So it wasn't easy, but by His grace, I will tell you, by His grace, He kept me through. He saw me through, and now I'm here. I'm doing much better. I've grown so much, so much, and now that I look back, I realized that all those experiences was making who I was. It was helping me to grow, to become
Mhm.
stronger, and I've grown so much in my life spiritually, emotionally, in every areas of my life, mentally. That also made me strong. And I was able to accomplish so much that I will never have thought or never dreamt that I would have accomplished by myself. Like I was able to complete my bachelor's, and I further went to advance my education. As you know, I just got my master's in science of nursing, and I'm a
Wow.
practitioner. So yes, I am grateful for that accomplishment.
So now you're a nurse practitioner, a licensed nurse practitioner.
Yes, I am a nurse practitioner. Yes. Yes.
Wow, wow. That is a great testimony. So at this point in your life, how is your life now?
My life is very, very good. I am blessed and I thank the Lord. Again, like I mentioned earlier, and you did, I am newly married. It's been 5 months. 5 months
Wow.
newly married. I met, yes, 5 months. After I was healed, I was able to really meet my husband. But again, if I wasn't healed, I would not have been able to even be available to meet him. So
How
um
long did that take for you to heal?
let me tell you about healing, sis. It took me a while. I will honestly say 5 years. So it
Wow.
took me by the fifth year, yes, for me to be able to be completely healed and with my husband. And like let me say about 2, 3 years, I used to say, oh, I am 80% healed.
Hmm.
I realized that it's either you're healed or not healed. There's nothing about being healed 80% and 20%. But when you're healed, you're healed. You're healed, you're able to move on, you let go, and you
Yeah.
forgive. And during my process, while I was working, to go through my healing, I was full of bitterness and unforgiveness. So that was another area for me to work on. As much as I had healed, I was holding on to so much unforgiveness baggage. That was my baggage because because of how it happened.
Uh-huh.
So that took me another year, honestly, I'll say, to even let go. So what I'll say to women out there going through divorce, divorce is painful. It's not easy. Miles Monroe's refer to divorce as a death, but it's like death. It's a separation. It's a death, but you get to see that person versus when you bury someone, they're gone. You don't get to see them anymore. Divorce is like you separating with that person. It's the death of your marriage, but you get to deal with them, especially when there's kids. You got a co-parent, so it's not easy. It takes time. It takes work. It takes daily work. You have to work on yourself. You have to
Hmm.
learn. You have to grow. You have to take your time to heal. Yeah,
And now you got healed after 5 years. So how is your life now? You said you just recently got married. How is that now?
it's going pretty well. I'm blessed to have a husband who loves the Lord, and he really, really, truly, literally loves me as Christ loves the church. He will make sacrifices for me that I wouldn't even make for myself, and that's what um,
Wow.
God wants for us. And
Yes.
it says, I was reading the other day and I came across something that said that when you meet the man that is ordained to love you, they will know how to love you right. Not
Right.
everybody's love us right. So when you meet that right person for you, they're able to love you right. They have the patience, they're equipped to love you. So no matter what it is, they love you unconditionally, unconditional love. There's no reason, they just love you. So I
Right.
am blessed to have that man in my life who loves me unconditionally. I'm grateful.
Congratulations to you and your newly husband. You know, we go through painful stuff as divorce is painful for us. If there's a lady that is listening to you right now and want to know how to get through their divorce, they're going through a horrible time, they're feeling low about themselves, thinking that they're no good, what would you say to them at this time?
I would say to them again, as I mentioned earlier, there are a couple of things that I did in my experience that worked for me. Healing is number one. There's a couple of things that you can do to heal. It takes time, it is work, it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. Some of the you got to learn to love on yourself, because remember, nobody can love you besides how the way God loves you. So learn how to love on yourself. Try not to find validation in other people's opinions about yourself. That's how you build your self-esteem. So as you go through that, love on yourself. I used to, like I said, read, meditation, do things that you like, go for long walks if you like nature walks, go to the gym. I used to work out. I love dance classes, so that was one of my coping mechanism. I would just go to dance classes 3 days a
Yes.
week. I definitely stayed in front of God. Like I said, one-on-one meditation, daily devotions, and just allow God to break you and mold you and use you. You heal. Once you heal, when you do all that, take vacations, go take yourself out to eat. I used to go out to the movies by myself. It wasn't easy in the beginning, but I'll sit down in the movie theater by myself. I used to take myself out to eat. Don't be in isolation. If you have friends, use your support system, use your
Yeah.
resources. And don't be afraid and don't be ashamed to say, you know what, I am not ready yet, I am not healed. Because a lot of times, social media condition us or other people or friends and families. They want to tell you, how long it takes to heal. For example, I have people saying, oh, my XYZ went through that and she's over that already. It's been a year. Well, you're not XYZ. You're who you are. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. So take your own time, go through the process and heal. And after that, forgiveness. Forgiveness is another great big deal.
Yeah.
Just learn to forgive and let go. It is easier said than done, but
Hmm.
ask God to help you. Ask God to help you to let go. Because sometimes unforgiveness can overshadow the blessings that God has for us. And I think for me, for a long time, I waited for 6 years. It's my 7th year being divorced before I finally, got remarried again. But sometimes God is dealing with us to leave those baggages. And if you don't, it's going to overshadow your blessings because you won't be ready. It's through healing
Right.
that you discover yourself, and it's through healing and forgiving and let go that you're free again to start your life all over again and to love again. So take your time to heal, forgive and let go, move on, and then trust God. Trust the process. Know that things happen for a reason. And sometimes we never know the reason why things happen. It happens
Right.
until the reason itself manifests itself. So you will sit down one day and look back and be like, God, this is why you allowed this to happen. For instance, now when I compare my life now, where I am,
Yeah.
to where I came from, and I compare my ex to my present, I realized that there was no way he was going to be able to handle what God has in store for me. Because you want
Yeah.
somebody to support you and build you and not to, put you down. So God is good like that. You will not know the reason, but when it manifests itself, you'll be like, God, you're going to thank God because he knows
Yeah.
what we want more than what we know, what we want for ourselves. He knows what we need. So we
Yeah.
don't. Yeah. And that was my prayer. I asked God, I said, God, you choose my husband for me this time because I don't even know what I want. Look at my choices that I make. They're not good for me. You know what's good for me. So,
And God always knows what's best for us. If
yes,
we put our hands in God's hand, He will work things out for us.
yes,
Oh, what a blessing. What a testimony this has been. I pray that someone will be blessed by just hearing what you have to say about divorce, because divorce is always painful. But with God, you can make it. With God, all things are possible. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing. If you like this, what you hear, we ask you to like, share with other ladies, and subscribe. Thank you so much for coming on, Elizabeth. May God continue to bless you real good. And remember, I love you with the love of the Lord. Be blessed. Take care. Love you. God bless you.
thanks for having me.